In the vast universes of Marvel and DC, two characters stand as near-perfect reflections of one another, both embodying the ultimate vision of what a Superman could be. On one side, we have DC's Superman, the Man of Steel, the symbol of hope, truth, and an endless drive to protect humanity. On the other, Marvel's Hyperion, a godlike being designed to mirror Superman's might but filtered through Marvel's lens of tragedy, moral complexity, and darker undertones. The question arises, if these two giants ever collided in battle, who would stand victorious? Would it be Superman, with his legacy as Earth's greatest protector, or Hyperion, the eternal warrior forged through hardship and loss? To answer this question, we must take a deep dive into their origins, their powers, their weaknesses, and ultimately the philosophy that drives them. This isn't just a battle of strength. It's a battle of ideals, resilience, and the ultimate test of what it means to be a god among mortals. Today, let's break it down step by step and crown the true champion of this cosmic duel, Hyperion vs Superman. Origins and legacy. Every great hero begins with a story that defines not only their powers but also the way they choose to use them. Superman's origins are legendary. Born as Kal-El on the doomed planet Krypton, he was sent to Earth as an infant by his parents Jor-El and Lara. Under Earth's yellow sun, he developed abilities that far surpassed anything humanity had ever seen. Raised by Jonathan and Martha Kent in Smallville, Kansas, Superman grew up with the values of compassion, humility, and selflessness. His entire life has been a journey to balance his near-limitless powers with his human heart, striving to embody the best of what humanity can be. Superman is not just a hero, he is a symbol of hope. Hyperion, on the other hand, exists in multiple variations across Marvel's multiverse, but the most prominent version, Marcus Milton, was sent to Earth from a dying world much like Superman. Raised by human parents, he too grew up with compassion and sought to protect humanity. However, Hyperion's path diverged sharply when his Squadron Supreme often found themselves clashing with governments, superheroes, and enemies that forced him to make ruthless decisions. Unlike Superman, whose story is shaped by optimism and the idea of hope, Hyperion's legacy often dips into tragedy and moral ambiguity. Where Superman finds strength in restraint, Hyperion finds strength in absolute conviction, even if it means destruction. This core difference is what makes their clash fascinating. Superman represents the shining light of what humanity could aspire to, while Hyperion embodies the darker truth of what happens when godlike power becomes entangled with the harsh realities of survival. Powers and abilities. Now let us compare the raw powers that these titans bring to the battlefield. Superman's powers are vast. Under Earth's yellow sun, he possesses superhuman strength capable of moving planets, speed fast enough to rival the Flash in some iterations, and durability that allows him to survive nuclear blasts, black holes, and even battles with gods like Darkseid. His senses extend far beyond human limits. He can hear heartbeats from miles away and see across the electromagnetic spectrum. Of course, his iconic heat vision, freeze breath, and super breath round out his arsenal, giving him a versatile edge in combat. Most importantly, Superman's solar energy absorption allows him to heal and grow stronger the more sunlight he absorbs, even granting him godlike power levels in certain storylines. Hyperion's powers are strikingly similar, almost to the point of being a direct reflection. He possesses immense strength, durability, super speed, heightened senses, and atomic vision that mirrors Superman's heat vision. In fact, Hyperion has demonstrated incredible feats such as holding apart two universes from colliding, surviving within the core of the sun, and tearing through powerful opponents like the Hulk. His stamina is practically limitless, as his body is powered by cosmic energy. Hyperion has also proven resistant to some forms of magic and extreme environments, making him a nearly unstoppable force in combat. Where Superman's power grows with sunlight, Hyperion's strength is tied to cosmic radiation, which means in the right conditions, his power levels can rival and even exceed Superman's. Both are essentially indestructible, but the edge often comes down to versatility and experience. Superman has decades of combat against the most powerful beings in the DC universe, while Hyperion, though devastating, often finds his greatest tests within the Marvel multiverse's darker scenarios. Weaknesses and limitations. No matter how invincible a hero may appear, every being has a weakness. For Superman, the most famous weakness is, of course, kryptonite, a radioactive fragment of his destroyed planet Krypton. Exposure to kryptonite can weaken him to the point of death. He also struggles against magic, as his physiology doesn't provide any natural resistance to mystical forces. But beyond the physical, Superman's greatest vulnerability lies in his humanity. His compassion, his refusal to kill unless absolutely necessary, and his desire to protect everyone often hold him back from unleashing his full destructive potential. Superman fights with restraint because he values life above all. Hyperion, meanwhile, has no kryptonite equivalent, but he does have vulnerabilities. His reliance on cosmic energy means that if he is cut off from it, his powers can diminish. In some stories, concentrated antimatter or overwhelming exotic energy sources have been shown to harm him. But like Superman, his greatest weaknesses are not purely physical. Hyperion's moral compass is less rigid than Superman's, and while that can make him more dangerous in battle, it also leaves him more susceptible to losing himself to ruthlessness. Without the same deep-rooted sense of humanity, Hyperion sometimes veers toward authoritarianism, making choices that Superman never would. This contrast is key. Superman's restraint is both his weakness and his greatest strength, while Hyperion's lack of restraint can either guarantee victory or ensure his downfall. The final verdict. So, who would win in a head-to-head clash, Hyperion or Superman? On the surface, the battle would be evenly matched. Both can move at unimaginable speeds, unleash devastating energy blasts, and endure punishment that would obliterate any ordinary being. Their combat would shake worlds, level cities, and echo across the cosmos. For long stretches, neither would hold a clear advantage, as their powers mirror one another too closely. But when we look deeper, the deciding factor is not just power, it's character. Superman has faced gods, monsters, and entire armies, and he has triumphed because of his unwavering resolve. His refusal to give up, his ability to draw strength from hope, and his experience battling some of the greatest threats in existence push him to another level. Hyperion, for all his strength, often succumbs to darker impulses and lacks the same unbreakable sense of hope that defines Superman. In the end, Hyperion might win battles through sheer brutality, but Superman wins wars through his resilience, compassion, and ability to inspire. When pushed to the absolute limit, Superman's adaptability and experience give him the edge. The verdict is clear. In the ultimate clash of titans, Superman would emerge victorious, not only because of his power but because of his heart. Final result. If Hyperion and Superman were to face off in a godlike battle, the edge ultimately goes to Superman, the Man of Steel, whose unmatched willpower and hopeful spirit ensure that he triumphs even against a near-perfect reflection of himself. Check out my other videos for more epic character crossovers and battles. Thanks for watching, and stay happy and healthy.